All right, well, as y'all know, we're streaming live, and we come back Tuesday, wrap up the session. Our plans are to work through until Monday. Right now, we have passed and sent 583 bills to the Senate. 321 House bills have been sent to the governor, 123 Senate bills, and 122 House bills and 46 Senate bills have been signed by the governor. There have been no vetoes. Obviously, the budget bill is over in the Senate. I'm not sure when they plan to get it back to us. I'm hearing early next week they'll get it out of committee and probably back to us late next week. And then we'll see what it looks like before we decide what we're going to do. Of course, that's Mr. Fannin and I will discuss whether we concur or send it to conference. Rainy day is we're waiting to see what the Senate does with it, with that resolution, and then we'll move on from there. And I'll be happy answering questions.
Chuck, in the discussions about the budget, are y'all having meetings with the Senate already to discuss kind of what posture they're looking at putting the budget?
We're trying to, yes, Mr. Fannin and myself have had several meetings with Mr. Lario. We've had meetings with Mr. Lario and Mr. Donahue, the chairman of the Finance Committee, and discussing what their thoughts are. And I really don't think they know at this time exactly what they're going to do. They may have some ideas, but they're not sharing with us. And we'll have a very good handle on it when it comes out of committee, probably Monday or Tuesday. I'm assuming that they will restore some of the cuts that were put in there. How much they restore, I don't know at this time.
What does it do? What does it do to you when it comes back? Not to be personal. What does it do to the House when it comes back with some cut or restore with possible non-recurring revenues? Do you have opposed to it?
Well, yeah, I think the support's there to, and it just depends on how much money they put in. As I have said many times before, I cannot support any more cuts to higher ed. And I've said this many times before that McNeese State University is in my district, and I've talked to the president of McNeese many times, and he tells me they are to the bone, and they have no room to cut. So, I respect his opinion, I respect his decisions, and I understand that they cannot sustain any more cuts. The same thing with healthcare. The providers have been in my office since I've become speaker, in and out, day by day, week by week, telling me that they are also cut, and they can't sustain any more cuts. So I think it's how much they restore at this point in time, I don't know, but it's it's hard to speculate. I've got to see what they do and how they do it, and we'll make that decision when it comes back. But I am, Melinda, just to follow up on your question, I am having constant discussions, so I'll have some kind of handle when it does come out of committee and when it comes back from them, that I'll at least have a general idea what it's going to look like. So,
Are those conversations involving the members of the House Republicans who didn't support the use of one-time money?
well, they haven't been in meetings. I think they have had some meetings with some of the senators to discuss some of the cuts. So you'd have to talk to them about those discussions.
Do you have a sense of whether the magnitude of the use of the one-time money matters? I mean, is this a case where you think you can get more support in the House if it's only $50 million as opposed to?
Well, I think I'm not sure what can happen. I mean, if you've got to leave some one-time money in there, or you got to leave the. I'm not sure what the breaking point is, or if there is one. But if you don't have the one-time money, then again, you start cutting higher in healthcare, and I have been very clear again that I can't support cutting higher ed or healthcare any more than what's been cut already.
I know that the rainy day fund resolution has gotten kind of tangled up in this. Do you have any concerns about getting support in the House for use of the rainy day fund?
I feel comfortable in saying that I think at the end of the day that the House will support the use of the rainy day money.
When do you see that resolution move in?
Before June the 4th.
Why don't you ought to move House Bill 3, and keep that as kind of hostage?
Yeah, I haven't really spoken to Chairman Robideau about that. We'll probably talk over the weekend about that decision when we need to move that, but we have a little time, so.
So the vote today on the cash balance bill sent it to conference committee. Are you expecting to get enough support in the House and the Senate to pass that at this point?
Yes, I think so. I think at the end of the day, there will be the votes there to support the cash balance plan.
So why do you think it went the way it did today then?
I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to visit with, I haven't even looked at the vote on that yet. I'm not really sure. I know that the support was there. I'm not sure why it went the direction it did.
Am I going to lose an apartment over that, or
I'm sorry.
am I going to lose a chairmanship, vice chairmanship, or an
No,
apartment?
you know, nobody's lost an apartment or anything else, have they?
That's the way some people tell it.
There's
You
all kinds
got
of.
any other issues hanging fire besides those two?
You know, I think one of the big things that we can look at this session, besides education, some of the retirement reform is the legacy issues that's been resolved. And, you know, we'll hear both of those on the floor. Is it Thursday? We'll concur on one and we'll hear the other one. And, you know, I think that'll address the legacy issues.
So Thursday for this?
Right. 5:55 Thursday is the bill that we'll have on the floor, and 6:18 is the concurrence that we'll do.
Once
Friday's the last day, next Friday's the last day
Friday.
of your bill,
Right.
At 6 o'clock.
without 2:30.
And once they got the compromise, they sailed through the Senate, do you assume that they're gonna, is that what you're expecting?
I'm not
from the House?
anticipating any problems at all. I haven't heard or I haven't seen anything.
Have you heard anything about the bill that was tacked on yesterday in committee?
47-page bill that was attacked on the
Yes.
page, or the 47-page amendment. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that.
There are some retirement bills that didn't make it out of the Senate. Is there an expectation that some of those will be amended on that bills in the House to try and get them passed?
I haven't had those discussions with anybody about that. You know, if it hasn't made it out of the Senate, I'm not sure why we would amend it onto a House bill. I haven't had any discussions with anybody about doing that.
That it? That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all. Y'all have a great weekend.
Have a good Memorial Day.